Hello everybody, Shinjo here, welcome back to the channel and to the Arc 5 tier list. This seems like it's a lot of characters, but it really isn't because they decided to copy half of them at the very bottom here. But I've noticed that there are no counterparts like the alternate Jack Atlas, the alternate Crow, which actually work out better for me because I didn't entirely remember where I put them at in the original videos. Plus, this gives more spotlight to Arc 5 in general. So, unfortunately, we're going to be starting with Jean-Michel Roger. Honestly, if it wasn't for Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything clowning on this guy the whole time, I wouldn't even remember him. I'll put him in C, though. That's the Doctor, right? He didn't really do much. I'll put him in D. The four people that are in charge of New Domino or whatever, I don't remember. D tier. Shinji? Shinji's fine. I'll put him in B tier. There are some times that he's insufferable, but there are just some times that he's just kind of neat. I like his deck, though. I think this guy's Crow's friend, but I don't even remember who he is, so I'll put him at C tier. The three kids from Yuya's school, I'll put these two here, and I'll put Frederick in D tier. Kind of sad that I had to separate them, considering that for a split second I couldn't even remember their names. I think this is Allie and I think this is Tate, but I don't remember for sure. But Frederick, I didn't like him in the dub. They really forced a bad accent on him and it was unfortunate. And Crow's kids that he watched over, they didn't really upset me as much as Frederick, so they're going above him. Shoot, what's his name? The Flower Cardian guy, I can't remember his name. I don't know, everybody was like talking him up like he's some sort of celebrity, and in this universe he probably is, but I just never really cared about him. It might be because his deck plays with a lot of high level monsters that are just kind of all samey in my opinion, but yeah, I just didn't really care for him that much. Sergey, I don't remember if we ever got much backstory on Sergey, but I like his deck and a nice little nod to Earthbound Immortals from 5Ds. I just wish that I could remember what his backstory is. Shoot, what's his name? Barrett. I'll put him in C tier, I guess. He's not really bad. It's just the same thing with a lot of these characters, even Declan's manager and Declan's mother, I believe. A lot of characters in Arc 5 just get underutilized in my opinion, and a lot of them get sidelined for the legacy characters that are brought in, which is very unfortunate for the whole of Arc 5. Yuya's dad, he's fine. I'll put him at the top of B tier. He doesn't do much, but he's fine. Zuzu, if it was the first half of Arc 5, I wouldn't mind putting her in at least B tier. But her character took a huge tumble in the second half of the show where she didn't even duel. I don't think it's an exaggeration to put her in C tier, but I think I'll put her right in the middle. She had a very promising start, but unfortunately it just kind of plateaued, which sucks because I really liked her character at the start. Same with Sora, honestly. Sora was a very good character at the start, but then just seemingly got redeemed for very little reason, and there it is. He's your friend now. I don't know, Sora still had a very strong start, so I'll put him in B tier. Yuto, I think Yuto's gonna be right next to Sora because it's the same thing in my mind. Obviously, Yuto was quite literally AWOL for 50% of the show. Well, not even 50, probably a good 70% of the show. But they both had very strong starts, but just kind of plateaued. And shoot, honestly, I think it's fair putting Yuto below because Yuto never actually dueled on his own after that part where he got absorbed by Yuya. Shun is gonna go in A tier. I really like his character. I love his dub voice. I love everything about his character. Nothing more to say. Zark? Zark is just gonna go in C tier. I didn't really like the idea of incorporating Zark. At least the version of Zark that we got in the show. Yugo... I do like Yugo more than Yuto, but that's first of all because I like Synchros more than XCs. And also, Yugo was on screen more than Yuto was, so it's unfortunate in that sense. Silvio... I really like Silvio's deck. I like the theatrics of him. And I especially love his voice in the dub. But he's just not a good duelist. So I'll level it out and put him at very top of C tier. Selena is honestly a much better version of what Sora and Yuto was. Where they had a very strong start, but just kind of plateaued. But Selena was more consistent more in the show than Sora and Yuto was, in my opinion. She was a very capable duelist and at times felt more of a girl lead than Zuzu was. And I think it's fair to do this. Rin and Lulu, I'm going to put both of them in C tier. First of all, because it's the same thing. We very rarely get to see them in the show in general, and then only see them dual mind controlled. And second, I can't remember which one is which to save my life. Yuya, so I don't remember where I put other protagonists in other tier lists, but honestly, for Yuya, I think he's going to go B tier. And I think it's fair to put him below Yuto. And while I'm at it, I'll get this out of the way now. This is my ranking of the U-Boys. Yuri is my absolute favorite, followed by Yugo, then Yuto, and then Yuya. Yuri is just a very menacing character, although I don't like how he got redeemed at the end for seemingly no real reason. But I love that he gave Merrick sort of vibes. Yuya is honestly a bit of an opposite, where he's just always upbeat, always positive, that it got to the point where it was mind-numbing for me. But I've mentioned this before. Reira is a C, I guess. I'll put him above Zark because technically with the help of Rei, he canonically defeated Zark. Why is Yuya's mom on here? I mean, I guess I liked his mom more than him? I don't know. Aura's a fun character, definitely a wacky character that gives me sort of Anna Kaboom vibes, but she doesn't really do much in the second half of the show, so that's unfortunate. On that note, Dipper, Julia, and Kit are all sort of the same boat. They were threats that were brought in early on, but everything just kind of fell off with them. So I'll put them all in C tier. Who is this? This is the guy that uses the trains, right? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they were in the Xyz dimension as well together. So I'll put them both in the bottom tier because I don't remember and I don't care. Now as for Gong, he's gonna go A tier as well. Gong is a great character. The dub really helps with him being a stoic character but also a goofy character, and I just love his deck. I love how it's not a traditional deck that revolves around using spell and traps, where Gong's deck works better without them. And yeah, I just like his deck and his character in general. Declan is also, not Declan, Dennis is also going to be in A tier. I really like his character. A better version of Silvio in my opinion, where they're both theatrics and they both use very performance heavy decks, but I just like Dennis so much better, especially with the plot of Arc 5 with his turnaround and betrayal. The two ninjas, I don't know. If it was a younger me, I probably really like them because young kids always like ninjas, so I'll put him in B tier. Leo Akaba. So I know there's a lot of slander about Leo Akaba going around, about how he's a failure of a villain, a very worthless sort of character, and I'm here to set the record straight. D tier. absolutely D tier. There's no way that I would put this person, I wouldn't even call him a person at this point, in a high tier. Shoot, she didn't even duel, and I put Leo below her. Zuzu's dad, I don't know, he's fine, C tier. And then we have Declan. So, as far as dueling skills, Declan is definitely a strong character. But, honestly, don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, I'll put him at high B tier. I'm sure people love Declan, and he's probably a highlight of the show for a lot of people. I personally never cared for him. He, obviously, in the Synchro arc, he just kind of was stuck for a while. He didn't really do much. But overall, just the fact that he didn't show much emotion didn't really help for me. As I'm sure you've noticed, if people in A tier are really bombastic in one way or another. Shun is fueled by anger, same with Selena. Dennis is just a fun-loving character. And Gong actually has some depth to his character, arguably more than Declan. Although Declan has a tie to Leo, but I don't know, just my personal opinion. Ray canonically beat Zark, so I'll put her there. Again, didn't really get to see either one of those two. And we're ending it with the Tyler sisters. Didn't plan on that, but that's what we're doing. They're gonna go in C tier. It's not much, but it's something. Their characters at the start with their menacing sort of side was fine. The dub really helped with them being a lot more Valley Girl-like, and whether you liked it or not, I liked how goofy that they went with it, but that's just my personal opinion. But I didn't put anybody in S tier, and I think it's gonna be conveniently those two. And I think while I'm at it, I'll switch those two. It's very poignant that Shun and Dennis are both in S tier because they duel each other. I just like both of their characters. Everything about them, their dueling style, their voices, their decks, everything. And looking at it again, I definitely like Gong more than Serena because Gong actually sticks around for the show and doesn't get brainwashed. So I realized I probably mixed up the name for a lot of these. Because I know Shun is Shay, Selena, Serena, Zuzu, Yuzu, whatever. I've definitely used both English and Japanese voices for these, but it's too much effort for me to go back and record this again. But if you enjoy, hit that like button down below, subscribe if you haven't, let me know what you think about this video, and I'll see you next time. Momentai!